Sup Dudes, I'm Nate Heater.
And I'm Frank Lamontia.
And we are the Sup Dudes. Coming at you again from a parking lot in a movie theater. You know what that means. Time for another movie review. Do we ever get sick and tired of these?
Yes.
All right.
Nothing reviews, just your introductions.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
We have to. It's at this point.
I guess it's our trademark. I don't know.
Exactly. And this is movie number 2 movie review where Frank doesn't have his glasses.
So we took a shot. I mean, I had my glasses at the last movie and they broke after.
Yeah.
We took a shot because we figured we sit close enough anyway, so I don't have to walk upstairs.
Yeah.
And we'll discuss that another time. And figured since the screen is so big, I'd probably be okay. And it was, except for one small
thing that we'll talk about.
We'll talk about.
And we just saw the Courier.
The Courier.
The Courier.
Yes, I voted for Helvetica, but he won.
Really? It stars Benedict Cumberbatch. That's the main guy that we all know.
Yeah.
That we know from the movie.
Yes.
And all I can say about this movie is, wow, honestly.
Yes, it was very good.
Surprisingly, it's a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
But it's very good.
It is good. It's a historical movie. It's based on true events.
What was his name? Grendel Wynn or something like that? Greville Wynn?
Greville, I think. Greville
we'll put the name somewhere like we usually do.
That's the character's name. Mm-hmm. It's a historical drama, and involves espionage and stuff like that. So the espionage is pretty cool, but usually historical things aren't usually too, usually they're boring. But it was pretty good. It's slow moving in a couple spots, but not bad.
The espionage was for, we should mention, the Cuban Missile Crisis was the main thing.
Yeah.
The nuclear missiles between the USSR, the former USSR, I should say, and the United States.
Right.
And a big thing they talked about in the movie was the Cuban Missile Crisis, as we all know, from the 1960s, if you know your history. If you don't, shame on you.
Yes, and Greville was the courier between high-level Russian, whatever he is, attaché, I guess. And so he would bring in documents. He knew nothing about them or anything. He just knew he was doing something he wasn't supposed to, but he didn't have any specific knowledge.
But he was like a middleman because he delivered the M16s in London.
Yeah.
Like he didn't deliver to America. It was like he delivered from the Russians to the M16s.
Right, and they shared with the Americans.
Yeah.
Americans were the one that had more to lose at that point.
Yep.
But anyway.
Yep, enough history. Let's get to the movies.
Back to the movie.
I'll go first. Sorry. Usually start, and we're gonna start with the goods like we usually do. Almost everything I want to say was really good about this movie. I think Benedict Cumberbatch was a phenomenal actor for this role.
He was very good.
I couldn't think of anyone else off the top of my head who could really play this type of character. Not only because it's a British actor, that it's a British character he's supposed to be playing. I just think he fit that role perfectly well. His mannerisms, his acting, everything that he had to do with that role just made it.
Enough, I actually understood him.
Yeah, you don't really like British actors?
It's not that I don't like British actors. Don't get me wrong. I mean, don't. It's just that when I watch British-based films, it's very hard to understand the accents.
Like 1917?
Yes.
That's another movie we saw with British actors.
But, when I'm home, I could turn on the subtitles, which we'll get to.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that even for American movies, because sometimes the sound quality is not great in the TV show or whatever.
And as you always say, your hearing's going.
I don't know if it is or just the sound production or whatever. But anyway, the language wasn't too bad. There was a couple of guys that I did not get. A couple of lines here but overall the movie was good. It was a very good story. It was solid.
Yeah. I think it was shot really well too. There was a lot of camera stuff that I was a really big fan of.
Just the technical.
Well, I have to say, the cameras are what make that movie even better. Like you have the acting, but then you need to do the certain scenes. Like you have to have all the filler stuff.
Yeah.
And if they're not shot well, that takes away from the movie, and you're like, why are we watching this? This is crap.
Yeah.
So I want to say
some of the scenery and the
exactly.
The sites in London and Russia,
Yep.
It looks nice. I guess they were in Moscow mainly.
Yeah, they weren't allowed to leave Moscow. That was one of the big things in the movie.
Yeah, they were in Moscow. So yeah, so all that was good. You get to see some of the Russian ballet, which they're very famous for.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a couple of nice scenes there. Really, really, really impressive.
Yeah.
So you got no bads. The
The
only bad I have, and it's my fault because I have no glasses, is I couldn't read the subtitles all the time.
Nope.
I had to squint, and I could see them, but because it was a little harder to read, they went away before I could finish.
He asked me to read a couple of them too. That was funny. He was leading me like, what did that say?
I still got most of it.
I mean, I wouldn't say I have a lot of bads. It's just like it wasn't like a phenomenal movie overall.
Yeah.
I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I said Benedict Cumberbatch was
Mm-hmm.
whatever his Cumberbatch, Cucumber, whatever his name is.
Hey.
Benedict, we love you. There's not really much bad. Like I said, it's just not like a phenomenal movie like a Godfather, like a Dark Knight, anything like that.
It's a drama. It's not an action
Exactly.
movie. It's espionage, and they built it up kind of nice. The tension in some areas, and that was good.
Especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Like after the midway point, from there on, there was
we're not gonna spoil
there was
anything.
one part that I was like, that's really done well.
Okay, well, we'll have to discuss what that is later because
Yeah.
I'm not sure to say it. Yeah. But he played all the permutations of his character really well.
Yeah, exactly.
It was quite a good movie. So
I'm gonna let you have the first rating of this
curious,
movie.
huh?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Okay, well,
Because we don't really agree on a lot of movies, but
Yeah.
we kind of talk highly about this one after it was over. So I'm curious to see what you're gonna say.
as far as what I prefer to watch, I usually like horrors. Actions are up there. Comedies are up there. Comedies are just hard to be really good.
Yeah.
I want to go with, because I don't want to go too high, like, leave room and stuff. Not that it matters. I mean, if we score one thing, a 9, we can't, we can't score another one a 9. Of course we can.
Yeah, really.
But I'm just to play it safe, I'm going to do an 8.5.
8.5. I think that's like the highest rating you gave for these reviews.
Oh, sure.
Yep. My review,
It's the best movie we've seen this year.
I would honestly agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I've rated News of the World really high as well. And honestly, I have to agree with you on your rating of an 8.5.
Okay.
I mean, I was going to give it an 8, but the more I talked about it, the more I thought about it after the movie was over, it kind of bumped it up a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like a 9 movie. It's not like a 10 movie. Like some movies that we'll talk about in the classic reviews whenever we get to them. But I think 8.5 would be a reasonable review, and I'm going to go with that. So at this point, what our average score is going to be?
We'll have to work out the math to show you.
Yep. Yeah, so
Okay.
long story short, do we recommend this movie? Absolutely. I mean, with a rating of 8.5, why wouldn't we recommend it?
Yeah.
I would even recommend like going to the theaters,
Yeah.
buying it, and like paying for it and watching it.
Yeah. This is worth going to the theater for, because some of the scenes would play better on the big screen.
Exactly.
Well, some of you guys have big screens at home, but
I mean, if you do see
what
it
I mean.
on like your Netflix, on a Hulu, on your
and the sound and
streaming
stuff.
platform of choice, go for it.
it's a really solid movie.
All right.
Good.
With that being said, that's our movie review. I'm Nate Heater.
Hold on, interruption here. If you like this kind of stuff, I would recommend 13 Days, which is like it's not terribly similar, but it's about some of the same historical context. Okay, so that's we may talk about that in our classic reviews.
And we'll probably mention
We're
this
thinking of
movie too.
reviewing movies that we've seen 100 years ago. So anyway,
Any more interruptions?
carry on. Sorry.
All right. With that being said, guys, I'm Nate Heater.
And I'm Frank Lamontia.
And we are the Sup Dudes. So long.
Bye bye.